Today we are going to do some vocabulary practice. Now, what I wanted to talk about today was some words that people use in English to describe people. So we're going to be describing people. Now, the word describe is a verb. It's an action that you do. It's something that you do. So when you describe something, it's when you use words to say what a person or thing looks like or what something feels like. So we can describe how something looks. We can describe how something feels. We use words in English, they're called adjectives, to describe or talk about things so people know what we're talking about or they understand what it is that we're feeling, or if we're talking about something that somebody has never seen or done before. So that's what we use. That's why we describe things. So today we're going to practice describing people. But first, I'll show you some examples. So if I said to you, describe the bird, and you're going to describe this bird right here. What does it look like? That sort of stuff. So you could say that the bird is brown, or the bird has black around its beak and eyes. Oh, sorry, 1 second. That's the incorrect it. It should be ITS. But you could say that it's black around its beak and its eyes. Let me fix this really quick. So you could say it's black around its beak and its eyes because there's black color around its beak and its eyes. And you could say that it's small. So those are some of the things you could use to describe it. Now, if I said, describe the car, you could say, well, it's blue and it's gray. It's small. And we use this and it's helpful because if somebody has never seen your car before and you ask them, oh, can you go grab this out of my car? Can you go get this out of my car? They would be like, yes, I can. What does your car look like? And you could say, oh, it's blue and it's gray, it's small. If the person knows the brand or who makes the car, you could say it's a Mercury, or you could say it's a Chevy or a Toyota. You could say those things to describe a car. So when we are describing people in English, we use some words that don't really make sense when you're learning English. For example, this sentence says, my daughter is than I am. And the options are higher or taller. Now, the correct answer for this is going to be my daughter is taller. When we are talking about how the height of somebody compared to another person, or the height of anything, really, but mostly people, we say taller, like they are tall. So if somebody's really tall, meaning like this girl, she stands really tall. She has a large height. We use the word tall and not high. Like you could say she's really tall. She is really tall, but you would not say she is really high. That doesn't work in English. So when we talk about see how this person's short and this person's tall, we use the word tall, and when we're comparing, we use the word taller. So for example, my daughter is taller than I am. Now, the same thing here. My sister is shorter than I am. we use the word short when we're talking about how tall somebody is. So if you are saying my sister is short or my sister is shorter than I am, we don't use the word lower or low, because that when you use the word lower or low, it could mean like she's sad. It could mean that she's actually like lower than you, meaning like she's underground or something. So that's why we use the word shorter in English. Now, this is one of those funny words that people use in English to describe people. So this sentence says, my brother is not fat, he is, and the answers we have are stocky or sticky. The answer is going to be stocky, and let me tell you why. So you'll see that this guy is kind of like, he has lots of muscle, but he's like very big and like wide. People in English, they will describe somebody who is not fat, but somebody who looks kind of like this, where they're kind of wide and big, but they're not necessarily, very fat. We use the word stocky. And stocky just means like compact, meaning like muscly and kind of wide. That's what we mean by stocky. Sticky is like if you get like syrup on your hands, or if you're, eating a popsicle or something and your hands get sticky. That's what sticky means. But we use the word stocky to describe people. So again, he is completely bold or bald. He lost all his hair. So when somebody doesn't have hair on their head, in English we call that bald, not bold. Bold is what we use to describe someone, how somebody is, meaning they're very brave or they're not afraid of stuff. So that's what you would use to describe bold. But when somebody doesn't have any hair on their head, we say bald. You would say he is bald. So another word to describe people, my sister works out every day. She is in shape or shaped. Now, shape can be a verb, but in English we use a phrase where we say somebody's in shape, or I want to get in shape. It means that that person wants to exercise and be healthy. That's what they mean by be in shape. So if somebody, so you just say, the phrase that you use in English is in shape. She is in shape. He wants to get in shape. So you say in shape, or they're in great shape. It just means that they're really healthy, they exercise a lot, so, they can run really far, they can walk up the stairs without, running out of breath, that kind of stuff. So this next one is he isn't fat, but he has a bit of the answers are fat or belly. The answer is going to be belly. This is another weird one in English, where in English it's rude to tell somebody they're fat, even if they are. And so in English we came up with words that aren't really mean and not saying that they're fat, but still kind of telling somebody that, they're kind of fat. So, for example, when somebody, usually people use this to describe men, is when you say that they have a belly. Everybody has a belly. A belly just means stomach. It means this part of the body right here. This part of the body is the belly, the stomach, right? So when you say that they have a bit of a belly, it means that their belly sticks out a little bit, and it's not because they're pregnant or anything. It's because it's fat. So when somebody says that, oh, I have a bit of a belly, it just means that they're a little bit. It's like saying that they're fat, but it's not a mean way to say that they're fat. So that's what it means when somebody says a belly. I have a belly, or I have a little bit of a belly. It means that they just have some fat on their stomach. So this next one is he is 6 feet, and this goes back to when we describe how tall somebody is, their height. When you say he is 6 feet, you want to say tall, not high. Even though you could say, oh, that tree is really high, or that mountain is really high, or that light is really high. When you're talking about people or things like that, you say tall. He is 6 feet tall and not high. He's not 6 feet high. He's 6 feet tall. So whenever you're describing the height of somebody, like if they're really tall or really short, we use the words tall and short to describe them. So this is not really a descriptive word. It's not something we use to describe things, but it is something that people do a lot that has to do with how they look. So my mom used to, in the past, remember, my mom used to dye her hair blonde. So you'll see that these two words are spelled differently. This one is spelled D-Y-E, and we say dye. And this one is D-I-E, and we say dye. They're pronounced the same exact way, but they mean two different things. D-Y-E, dye, means to get your hair, to change the color of your hair. Or when you dye your clothes, to change the color of your clothes. When you dye something, it's changing the color of like hair or clothes, or paper or something, or fabric. That's what dye means. D-I-E, dye, means death. It means somebody has been killed, or it means that they're not alive anymore. That's what dye means. So we would use A. My mom used to dye her hair blonde, meaning she changed the color of her hair by putting stuff in her hair, like at the salon, or buying it at the store. He has freckles or wrinkles. So the answer is going to be freckles. Freckles is the word that we use to describe all these little brown dots that are on people's faces. So all of these little dots that are like brown, and sometimes they're red, sometimes they're light like this, and sometimes they're dark. We use this to describe, we use the freckles, the word freckles, and it just means little parts of the skin that have dots on them, on their face. People can also have freckles on their body, but most of the time it's on their face. So we use the word freckles to describe those. Wrinkles is what you have around your eyes when you get older and on your face. And wrinkles, if you tell somebody, oh, you have some wrinkles, some people in America find this offensive, but for the most part, wrinkles aren't a bad thing. They just mean that you're older, and for some reason people in America think that being older is bad, which doesn't make any sense. But wrinkles is what we use to describe, the lines, the creases that go around your eyes as you get older, or on your face, around your mouth, or your neck, shoulders. Those are wrinkles. But this kid has freckles on his face. So this next one, he goes to the gym. He is flabby, ripped. So these are some other words that people in English use to describe people's bodies. So we have stocky, we have belly, they have a bit of a belly. So the answer for this one is ripped. Now, this is really confusing if you don't aren't a native English speaker. So when somebody says, "Oh, he is ripped," it means that they are very, very muscly. So you'll see that this person has a lot of muscles, and he has muscles in places that you didn't know people could have muscles. So that's what ripped means. It means very, very muscular. They have a lot of muscles. That's what ripped means. Flabby means like kind of fat, kind of chubby is another word that we use. So this guy doesn't look chubby at all. He's ripped, meaning he has a lot of muscle. So that's another word. So in English, ripped means you can like rip a piece of paper, meaning you tear a piece of paper, or like I ripped my check in half, meaning you tore it up. You ripped it, you ripped it in half. But when somebody's talking about somebody's body, he is ripped, it means that they are very muscly. This one is supposed to say, my friend is, but my friend is talk a lot or talkative. So this one is interesting because the word talkative means to talk a lot. But when you're describing somebody, you would say, my friend is talkative. Sorry, one second. I'm just going to fix this so it's not confusing. So my friend is talkative. So the answer is going to be B. You would say my friend is talkative, or my mom is talkative. That's the word we use to describe somebody when they talk a lot. So the reason you can't say my friend is talk a lot is because it's not the correct tense. You could say my friend, get rid of the is, and say my friend talks a lot. That's how you would say it properly in English. But if you were just saying my friend is, it would be my friend is talkative. Or you could say they are talkative. You also could just say, they talk a lot. He talks a lot. But when you hear the word talkative means that they just talk a lot. They like to talk to you. They like to say things. So today's lesson was really short, but let me know if you have any questions about this or if you want to keep doing these kinds of lessons.